Good afternoon, everyone. This is Attorney Ahmed Yagzan from the American Dream Law Office. This is my second try trying to do this today. I think the last time there was a glitch in the system that it didn't allow us to go live. I am hoping that this time is going to be a little different and we're going to be able to have some people come in and join us. All right, it looks like we are online, and there are people joining us. If you joined us, please, I would really appreciate it if you share the live with your friends. I would really appreciate it. I'm gonna give it a couple more seconds to see more people join. As I said, I'm attorney Ahmed Yagzan from the American Dream Law Office, and I am an immigration attorney. I'm specializing on removal defense and all of that, but we are a full service law firm. We are, if you could think of anything immigration, we do. I do, as I said, I specialize in federal cases and removal defense cases. So if you have any loved one who is currently in detention or facing removal proceedings anywhere in the country, I actually represent people all over the country, not just in Florida. We also do Habeas petitions all over the country. So if you have a loved one who has been in detention in federal custody for a very long time, or they were arrested illegally, you are more than welcome to share my information. I actually put my link to schedule a consultation with me in this video. It's on the top right if you want to click on it. I did want to speak about some breaking news when it comes to immigration. It happened yesterday. I will speak about that in a minute. But again, having an immigration attorney these days is very, very important. Please don't try to do things on your own, even if it's something like applying for a green card or naturalization, especially for naturalization cases or a green card case. Do not go by yourself to the interview. And I promise you, I'm not trying to scare you or anything. What I'm trying to do is advise you, because in some jurisdictions they're actually arresting people who are out of status on the spot, even though they're married to U.S. citizens. So do not go on your own to anything. Take an attorney with you and make sure that the attorney is good and they will be able to help you. If you have any questions, I have the chat open. If you have any questions, make sure that you drop them in the chat. And again, I'm shooting for about 500 hearts. If you guys can help with that, I would truly appreciate it. And if you can follow me, we're at I think 84,000 followers or so. 38,000. I apologize. I'm being dyslexic. We're trying to get up on those numbers, and we're about 100 likes away from hitting 30,000 likes on here. So if you could please share it, share the live, leave us some love, follow us, followers. I need followers, and if you could go on YouTube and follow us, I would really appreciate it. On my YouTube channel is just American Dream Law Office, and if you go on there and watch some of my videos. I actually will post this video shortly after we're done. I will post it to YouTube too. Okay, so the big news that came out of Washington yesterday is that Kristi Noem is out as DHS secretary. What I read, and I don't know if this is correct or not, what I read is that she was fired by a Truth Social post. She actually was given some sort of speech and in the middle of the speech, someone told her that she was let go. She wasn't really let go. They're giving her some sort of new job that they actually created just for her. I don't know what the new job is. When I read it, I was like, "What the heck is that?" But if you think that things are going to change in this administration, I truly don't think that the things are going to change that much, especially that the person that they are nominating is known to be a sycophant for the president. So I don't think DHS is going to have any. The person is going to be a yes man to the administration, and I think if you get a political appointment like a cabinet secretary, you being loyal to the president is not a bad thing, and I think it's expected. The problem is when you are working and you're violating constitutional rights for people who are immigrants and stopping people who are not supposed to be stopped. Then we run into issues and we run into things that have been happening in the last year and 3 months or so, in the last 15 months. So, what am I talking about? I don't think that there is going to be any change in apprehensions. I was thinking a couple of days ago, people are not getting apprehended as much anymore, and I'm actually not getting as many phone calls as I did last year, and the reason is that the DHS doesn't have any, the ICE doesn't have any funding right now, and that's because of the partial government shutdown that the Democrats have. They have funded some parts of DHS, but they haven't funded the whole DHS. They didn't fund ICE. They want some concessions on apprehensions. They want some concessions on how many people can be in a jail cell, believe it or not. They want some concessions on ICE officers not wearing masks. And I agree with those concessions. What is still happening though, and especially in the state of Florida, we're seeing a lot of people being stopped by local police, and the local police are using what's called a 287G with the for them to apprehend people. And I've read a couple of those agreements, 287G agreements in my vicinity, and honestly, they are very vague. Literally, the officer can look at you, and if you don't seem like you're a U.S. citizen or you have an accent or anything like that, there is no standards on probable cause. Also in Florida, they're not supposed to be apprehending people, but they're still doing it. So, but what I mean, it's still going to happen, but probably not at the scale that has been happening in the last 15 months or so. Please, if you could share this, I would really appreciate it, number one. Number two, if you have any questions, even if you disagree with me, send me the question and I'll be more than happy to speak to you. I also, as I said, I'm looking for about 500 hearts, and thank you to whoever is leaving the hearts right now. I really appreciate it. So if we could go over 500, I would like that. But if we could do 500, I would really appreciate it. I'm also looking for follows. Follows for YouTube and my TikTok, because we're getting very close to a big number. I think we're getting very close to 39,000. So if you want to follow me on YouTube, follow me on here, follow me on Facebook, I would really appreciate it. And something that I also forgot to mention is I have a book coming out on the 10th. So, and that book is about removal, defense, and federal litigation. And if you if you want to buy it, it's gonna be on TikTok. No, I'm going to have something on TikTok about it on Tuesday. But if you want to buy it, it's on Kindle, and all you have to do is just put my name on Kindle, and it should come up. Someone asked me about processing time for an I-130 for someone who is this Ali? Is this person outside the United States or are they here? Okay, and I don't want you to tell me anymore. But here's the problem. My clients sometimes call me and say, "Well, the processing time says this long on their website." On the government-owned website, there used to be a disclaimer saying that this is only an estimate of the processing times, not not a 100% accurate timeline. So he can look at the processing times. I can tell you the processing times takes 9 months to a year, and it doesn't matter because it's going to depend on um, which regional center you end up in and what their processing times are. A good estimate is a year to a year and a half if you're outside the United States. Last time I did one of those, I did it for my mother, and it took that long. That is from my personal experience. Now, can it go faster? Absolutely. Um, the other thing that you need to be thinking about if you're applying for someone who's from outside the United States is we do have, I think it was 76 countries that are on the ban list right now. And what's happening is, I know Lebanon is one of them. I know Iraq is one of them. A lot of Arabic countries are on the list, but they're not actually processing immigrant visas for people. So even if you get the I-130 approved and it goes to the National Visa Center, you're still going to wait for them to process it because of that ban list. And on the discussion boards that I am on Facebook, it hasn't happened to anyone I have submitted applications for yet. But what's going to happen is that you're gonna have to start suing people. I spoke to someone who's Palestinian yesterday, and his family is in the West Bank, and they're in the same thing. And I told them, I'll be more than happy to sue the government for them to set it up, but that gets expensive. And depending on where you live, as I said, I can help you in Florida, I can help you in DC, and I can help you in some parts of Texas. I am doing mandamus actions against the government regularly now. So if you want to sue the government, if it takes too long for them to schedule the visa interview, please let me know. Again, 888-963-7326. I don't think I spoke about that. I actually put that 888-963-7326. And if you just joined us, the scheduling link, I pinned the scheduling link on top right of the video. So if you want to go on the link and schedule something with me, I'll be more than happy to speak about your case. If you want to ask me a question here, please be as general as possible. I don't want you to put personal information because again, you don't know who's watching these days. So don't put any personal information. And if you need me, go to ADLO.law or call 888-963-7326, and my phone line is open 24/7, so you can call now and someone will pick up the phone even though it's after hours in my office. We actually just moved to a new office, and it looks really nice. So going back to Christy Noem, I don't know why she was fired. And a lot of us that actually sue the government and DHS all the time will have to do some things. Sometimes it's automatically changed the name on top, but sometimes we have to file to change the name. Now, what do you need? What are people doing right now? I just got a phone call from someone in New York who wants to hire me to do a local case for one of his clients, and it's a case for what's called a habeas corpus petition. And what that does is, if someone has been detained and sent to ICE custody, but there's a problem with the way that they were detained. They can go and petition the federal court to actually release them. Um, I have a lot of detained clients that are getting the federal judge is actually ordering them, ordering the government to actually to give them a bond hearing, and sometimes bond hearings are not good because in one of my cases the judge said, um, I don't care if you apply because the law in this circuit says that I don't have to grant him a bond because he came in without inspection, and it was at 2 years old. He didn't really have any control about him entering. And that case in El Paso, Texas, right now, I just filed it last week. So what's happening and what's going to keep to happen, even again, as I said, even if we have a different DHS secretary, because Kristi Noem, as I said, she's going to leave on the 31st. You still have to sue the government on delayed cases. You still have to sue the government on detention cases. You still have to apply. You still have to expect delays. You still have to have a lawyer to go with you. And you still have to do all of these things. As I said earlier, the person that they're tapping to actually take over her job is a senator from Oklahoma, who was the person who attacked Al Green at the State of the Union because he was holding a banner. So not the best person not the most sympathetic person, not the person that you want, and as a DHS secretary who needs compassion, and that job really, really, truly needs compassion, and that's not the most compassionate person. So let's do something new that I've never done before. What are things that make you scared these days? If when it comes to DHS and ICE, if you guys can comment, and I would be more than happy to discuss that. If you guys want to comment, what makes you scared today? If you're an immigrant, what is it that you're scared of? I personally, I'm a U.S. citizen, and it's a privilege of a lifetime to actually be a U.S. citizen, and it took me a very long time to become a U.S. citizen. But not a lot of people that watch me are U.S. citizens. I have heard of people not willing to even leave their homes to drop off their kids to go to school, and some localities that haven't, ride shares and all of that stuff for people not to have to leave their homes. What are some of the things that you're hearing in your locality, where you're from? What are you hearing from your friends who might be undocumented or who have friends who are undocumented? Let me know in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to discuss that. I honestly don't think you should be scared. And maybe it's my naivete or something. Some people that ICE is apprehending, they're doing them a favor by apprehending them. I know it's taken longer, and I know they've been really rough. They've been doing things the wrong way. They've been doing all of these things, but sometimes. So let's think about someone who's been in the United States for 20, 25 years, and they have children, they pay taxes, they're upstanding citizens. If they put them in removal proceedings, they're able to apply for something called cancellation of removal, and it's one of my favorite practice areas, to tell you the truth. And some people talk about the 10-year green card, and I think that's what they're referring to is cancellation of removal. I'm doing one right now for a person from Mexico who's a friend of my family, and she didn't have any other way to get permanent residence but be in removal proceedings, and they finally caught her, and that's what we're doing right now. And because she's detained, it's gonna go faster. I know it's not easy, and I wouldn't want to be in detention for a second. And some people are getting forced to be in detention 3 to 4 months and some more. But sometimes, if you look at it from the other side, it's some people are getting relief and removal proceedings that they wouldn't have gotten. Um, and I know it's probably an unpopular opinion to say it, but they're doing things for people that are helping them. Now, for you guys who are leaving me hearts, I think we should be able to hit like 1,000 in the next 10 minutes or so. I would really appreciate that. Thank you for whoever is leaving the hearts, and please follow me. I do at least 2 to 3 videos a week about immigration. So if you could follow me, I would really appreciate it. Um, and I would like to cut some more questions, but if you guys are scared, that's okay. The best listen, I know there are a lot of immigration lawyers out there, and this is coming from my heart, I promise. But I didn't become an immigration lawyer because I fell into it or anything. I have lived immigration literally since I was 17 years old, since I came to the country. And I came to the country on my own. I went through college, I went through law school, I went through my MBA, I went through my master's in law. I got a lot of education. I truly appreciate this country for what it is and its potential. And I know things right now look bleak. I know they do, and they look scary, and they look really bad. And I thought it looked really bad when I was a Muslim student when 9/11 happened. But this is even worse. But the pendulum always swings back in this country. Um, one of the things that made me so proud is people in Minneapolis standing up against everything that happened in that city, in that state. I think it's woken up a lot of people who have been um, taking things for granted for a long time. I tell people that um, just because things are surfacing right now and the media attention is on it doesn't mean that ICE hasn't been bad for a very long time. ICE has been bad for a very long time. One time I went to the local ICE office here to help a client, and the officer attached to his case started yelling at me. And when my client left, I called her supervisor, and I started yelling back at her because I don't think that's the respect that an attorney should get. Um, so I don't envy anyone who's going to be in removal proceedings. Or I dislike. I hate is a bad word. I dislike law enforcement because I'm a defense attorney, and a lot of times law enforcement does things wrong, and I know that, and unfortunately, ICE has been given an unlimited budget to do everything that they want, and that's really exasperated things that they've been doing for a very long time, since they were established in 2006. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't try. One of the things that have been happening is people with long-standing removal orders from countries that I never thought people would be removed to. They're trying to remove them to third countries. I have been in the last 6 months or so. I've been doing a lot of cases for Cuban citizens, and Cuba will not take him back. I know they will not take him back because Cuba has a lot of political problems, and if you're a dissident, it's an issue. And I've been trying to send people back to Cuba or Mexico or a third country. They've been doing that with asylum seekers, people who applied for asylum. the government has been trying to send them to countries that they would have never thought that they will end up in, like Uganda or some African countries, and they've never been to an African country in their lives. So, but I don't. If you've lived in this country for one day, you know that our spirit cannot be broken. We've had a long spirit of resistance. We have been resisting for a very long time, and just saying, "Oh well, I will take that removal order and leave the country," it's not even possible for me. You probably know this, but I'm from Lebanon. What am I gonna turn back into? Even though my whole family still lives in Lebanon, I don't want to go back to bombs. I don't want to go back to war. I love it here. And if you have a loved one who's here in the country and is thinking about just leaving the country because some lawyer told them, "Oh, you shouldn't try," I would just shake him and tell him, Ahmed Yagzan said, "Don't do that," and you should call me. And I've won cases in my career that people who've been practicing for 30 years told me to forget about them and just have the client leave, and I was able to win. I've recently won cases for people with trafficking offenses. I was able to reopen the case and get them back their green cards. I think these statements deserve some hearts, but it's up to you guys. But not fighting for your American dream should not be an option. I think you should keep trying. You should keep trying. You should keep fighting. And I know some people don't think that there is a light at the end of this tunnel, but I am 100% sure that there is. We've had a lot of despair, moments of despair in this country, and this is just one of them. Um, and unfortunately, if it's Christy Noem who is at the helm of DHS or someone else, it's gonna be the same fight. It's going to be the same fight, and you need a lawyer who's gonna be able to fight. I'm not the only lawyer in the world, and there are a lot of immigration lawyers. Even if you want to hire someone else who's closer to you, I would be more than happy to take that phone call and send you to someone who's gonna help you. But I do cases all over the country. So if you need an immigration attorney who's gonna fight for you, I would be more than happy to be that person. Please, 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 uh, don't hire someone who is not an attorney. I just got a phone call from a former client of mine who hired a notario to submit a habeas corpus petition for her husband, and that is absolutely a horrible idea and a horrible thing to do. If you need an attorney, you can literally go to ALA.org and find an attorney who's closer to you, and those are vetted attorneys, and you could speak to them and all of that stuff. But if you want to speak to me, we're getting close to the half hour mark here, and you guys are not asking me any questions. But if you need to get a hold of me, I will be honored to speak to you. We hired so many people. Yeah, we were hired by so many people last year. Um, and something that I'm going to say this before I go. Something that makes me happier than any attorney in the world is when I win that case and I call, and it's a very complicated case, and so many lawyers have told the client, "Oh, that you just need to leave the country." Um, and I fight for that client. I get the case. I get the case. I get the case won. I reopen the case, and now they can apply for green card. And the client starts crying on the phone. It breaks my heart, but they're good. They're good tears. It makes me happy. There's not a better feeling in the world than this. And I hope that gives you hope that we're fighting still. Christy Noem or not, the American Dream Law Office will be fighting. Every other immigration attorney in the country is going to be fighting. And if you guys give me the honor of fighting for you or fighting for a family member, I'll take it as a badge of honor for the rest of my life. Again, if you need to call me, 888-963-7326. I am going to be going live Tutu, let me give you my phone number before I log off. Again, the number, let me do it. My phone number is 888-963-7326. For you, Tutu, and the other person who just left a question, these are very complicated questions, and they're very sensitive, and I don't want to speak about them in an open forum like this. Call my office again. The number is 888-963-7326. I just put it in the comments. Call and schedule an appointment. I have appointments on the weekend if you need to speak to me. But please, I don't want to discuss these cases because they're very sensitive. But if you have any questions for me, guys, I'm a phone call away. All right? And I'll be more than happy to fight for you. ADLO.law, 888-963-7326. And I look forward to seeing you next week. We're going to do them on Tuesdays and Fridays. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. And let me know if I can help. You all take care.